Hello and welcome back to the studio kitchen. It's just past Mother's Day, and last time Shark Bait got together, they were giving me a hard time for not making another cooking video. So here you go. We got Shark Bait in the front room again, and we're cooking here in the kitchen. And in honor of Mother's Day, which just went by, I still have some flowers back here. I'm going to make something that my mom made, my wife, the mother of my boys, makes, and the story though that I like to tell, or I'm going to tell, is about Neil Henry's mom. Neil told this story about how they made a bunch of turkeys for some event up there in Canada, and there were all these turkey carcasses, and Neil's mother says, "What are you going to do with all these turkey carcasses?" And someone said, "Well, shoot, we're going to throw them out." And they said, or Neil's mom said, "You can't throw those out. I'll take them." And since Canada is like deep freeze in the wintertime, she just took all these turkey carcasses and threw them in the backyard, you know, the deep freeze, and she ended up making soup out of them. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make some soup. And I don't know about you, but our family, every now and then we get one of these rotisserie chickens. They're good. You rip them up, you eat them, they're ready to go. But when they're done, when you've been through them, and our boys go through them quickly. Ooh, that was loud, sorry. They kind of look like this, and you just, you know, you throw them out. But just like Neil's mom, she didn't throw it out. She probably made soup with it. So that's what we're going to do today. And it's real simple. You just take everything that's left, the carcass, and you toss it in a pan, just like that. Now we're going to take the pan with the carcass, we're going to put some water in it. So let's fill it up with water. You can see it's about, I put about half full, but you can put a little bit more water in it, maybe a little bit later. And there's just a few ingredients. You go outside the aisles of the shopping center. I got this stuff from the Kroger. Picked up an onion, some parsley, nice and green, some celery, there it is, and a carrot, one carrot. Something that my mom used to do, she used to make something called farina dumplings, which was basically out of soup, and it took a lot of figuring out, but I finally got it that cream of wheat is farina. Farina is actually a type or a brand of cream of wheat. So we're gonna make some dumplings out of this stuff and an egg or egg beater. And I'm playing around a little bit. I'm just gonna go a little bit beyond the envelope, and we're gonna put some things into the farina dumplings, maybe to give them a little extra, a little punch. So that's it. I'm not gonna bore you with the chopping up of all this stuff. I'm just gonna turn the heat on under the chicken carcass in the water, and then while this is cooking and I'm slicing up the vegetables, let's zip to the front room and listen to my favorite local band of the time, Shark Bait. Okay, I got my soup boiling with just the chicken carcass in there. And I'm doing something a little bit different this time. The last time I did this, I let the chicken boil for a long time, and then I strained out the broth and all the chicken, and I picked some pieces of chicken off and threw it in there along with the vegetables. But it didn't have the flavor. It really needed the flavor of that vegetable cooking in there with it. But I did want to still strain it. So what I've done this time is I've cut these pieces into big chunks. Like this is an onion, and just in 4 chunks. And I'm going to throw it in there like that so it gets the flavor, but it'll be easy to fish out and chop up in smaller pieces when the soup is done. So this is kind of a new technique. I think these celery stalks are a little bit big, so we'll chop them up. And then got plenty of parsley here. Parsley's pretty cheap, so 1 bunch is all you need. Put some parsley in there on the top and mush it down. And I hope you're enjoying Shark Bait. Man, that Dan Ennis can sure sing. He's good. He's very good. And I want to thank again Mrs. Henry for not throwing out those turkey carcasses, because that's what you do. You make soup out of it. So stop throwing those rotisserie chicken carcasses away. Carcasses, easy for you to say. Stop throwing those carcasses away. Throw them in the water. Where do you think chicken broth comes from? That's it. Okay, that's enough for now. This is looking really good. It's been boiling nicely, kind of a simmer. Everything, the chicken's just basically all the way off the bone, so it's there. So the next thing we're going to do is to turn the heat off just briefly. I'm going to dump the soup and all the ingredients into a strainer so the broth comes out the bottom. And then I'm going to take the carrots and the onions and I'm going to chop those up and throw them back in the broth. So there it is. I've separated the solids from the broth. I'm going to pour the broth back into the pan. And then after I chop up the, I guess I'll turn off the camera while I'm chopping up these babies, and then I'll let you go back and listen to maybe one more song with Shark Bait, maybe half a song. It won't take me that long to chop it up, and then we'll be back. Yeah, back up. Full disclosure, I saved a little bit of the original rotisserie chicken to put into the stuff that came out of the pot, but that's it. Looks pretty good, huh? Got a little bit of carrot. Really, the carrots and the onions cooked down a lot. I probably could have thrown 2 in there, but still, it's a respectable chicken soup. And the broth looks fabulous, just fabulous. So all this is going in the pot. All this is going in the pot. There it goes. And I'll scrape the rest of it in. Don't want to miss anything. I also added some fresh parsley, just a little bit. And I guess when it comes time to eat it, I might garnish the plate with some parsley too. But that's it. We got it all in. And it's still warm. So now it's time to have some fun with farina dumplings. So we need 1 more of these pots. and the farina, and I don't have an egg, so I'm going to try egg beaters. Hey, if it's not good, you don't have to eat it. And basically, you just put in, that's the congealing agent. Put in some cream of wheat, and you put just a little enough in there so that you can make the balls out of it. Again, it's best if you crack an egg in here. It's what I did last time, so this is kind of a mystery. And then the other thing that I'm going to do differently this time, since we're making chicken soup, I'm just going to put a little bit of this chicken powder in here, just to give these farina dumplings a little bit more chicken flavor. And I'm thinking teaspoon. So put a teaspoon of this in here. And then, just because, just to see what might come out of it, I'm also going to put in a little garlic powder. Why not? Just to give them a little garlic. My boys like garlic. Hey, while I'm stirring this, I've got a request. We talked about having Lynn Wilson over to show us how to make some gumbo. You know, kind of a guest cook in the studio kitchen. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Lenny, I hope you're doing well. We think about you. And we want to learn how to make gumbo from you. So, and I think Neil will come over for that one too. So that would be fun. Of course, Neil's in the front room playing now. I don't know if you can hear him or not. Sometimes you can hear him, sometimes you can't. And I think that might be enough. Hopefully the egg whites will work the same way as the eggs. I'm going to crank up the fire on my soup again. And we're going to try to make little, kind of golf ball size. Yeah. Not like that. I like that. Maybe. What do you think? Just drop it in the soup. And I'm going to let those farina dumplings go for at least 20 minutes or so. And then we'll take a taste. We'll let you see how it looks. But while this is going on, let's go on back up to the front and listen to a little more shark bait. Seems I got to have dinner bell. Well, I'll tell you what, this is kind of interesting. The last time I did this, those little farina dumplings stayed tight and small, and this time might have something to do with egg white versus egg. They blew up, so they're big dumplings. But the soup smells much better than the last time. I'm sure it's going to have a better flavor since the carrots and everything cooked along with it, the onions. And let's give it a dip and see what you think. Get one of these, just one, these monster dumplings. That dumpling is a meal in itself. I'll tell you what, it looks awfully good, doesn't it? Looks good. Go ahead and turn the heat off. And just for artistic sake, we'll put a little fresh parsley on the top of that giant dumpling. Go with it like that, and now let's take a look. I need a spoon. I forgot to get my soup spoon. Okay, team. There it is. There it is. It's looking good. So we got big whopping farina dumpling. Put some broth in there.
Don't forget no one really felt that.